what's up, guys, and welcome back to another Real Madrid preview. This is the preview to Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid in the Supercopa de España away over in Saudi Arabia. Don't ask me why these games are played, but basically, the La Liga champions, the La Liga runners-up, the Copa del Rey finalists, and the Copa del Rey winners play basically in this tournament. Now, obviously, La Liga champions was Barcelona, so they are in. Copa del Rey champions are Real Madrid, and finalists are Osasuna. So three teams. But because Real Madrid finished second, obviously you can't have Real Madrid twice, so it goes down to the third place team, which is Atletico Madrid. And funnily enough, we have been drawn against Atletico. By the way, I've just realized this, by the way. We have been drawn to them twice because we have to play them in the Copa del Rey just a little over a week after at the Wanda Metropolitano. But we'll obviously talk about that game when that game happens. We still have a week or so to go, but I kind of like this, feeling around the year where you go away to the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, you play this Super Copa. Maybe you win it, maybe you don't. Who knows? Last season, did we win it? I don't think we won it. If I'm not wrong, we lost to Barca, didn't we? 3-1. Was it 3-1? I have a feeling it's something like that. It was the game that Cruz actually got cooked for once. If I'm remembering that game correctly, I mean, this just make me feel like going back and trying to research it. But nonetheless, we're not gonna go back to the past. Let's talk a little bit about our opponents, our bitter rivals, Atletico Madrid. They are currently fifth in La Liga. They're doing a lot worse than expected. They're 10 points off Real Madrid and Girona, so the leaders. They are 3 points off Barcelona, third place, and they are tied on points with Athletic Club Bilbao, but they have a slight worse goal difference, and they have lost to Athletic Club Bilbao on head-to-head as well. So, whichever thing that it counts, they are actually worse off than Athletic Club Bilbao. I don't think they'll drop out of the fifth place to Real Sociedad, who are 6 points behind, and even Real Betis are a good 10 points behind as well. So they'll definitely finish, I want to say fourth, maximum fifth, third to fifth basically. I think it will be a battle between Atletico Madrid, Athletic Club Bilbao, and Barcelona for the top four, at least from third to fifth. Obviously third and fourth for the Champions League, and then one extra spot for the last team. But how have they been doing the last couple of games? Because when we played Argentina, they haven't played in a while, and we didn't know what was going on. Now we're playing actually a team that we know about. So last time out, they played their Copa del Rey game against a team called Lugo. They won 3-1 away. The last La Liga game they played away against Girona, they lost 4-3. The last game before that at home was against Sevilla. They won. They drew Getafe at home. They lost to Athletic Club Bilbao away. They beat Lazio in the Champions League, and then it just further back as well. They lost to Barca not too long ago as well. So they're really up and down. You don't know what to expect from Atletico Madrid. Sometimes they turn up. Sometimes when they don't turn up, they really, really are poor. And there isn't a middle. There isn't really a middle. When you watch Atletico Madrid, either they are really good and they're scoring tons of goals and they're winning 7-0 and they're beating their opponent by 3 to 4 goals, or they're losing the game and they aren't really playing well. And you would argue that against Girona, they scored 3 goals and they lost by a goal. But I think Girona played so much better. Yes, Morata's got a hat trick, which I never thought I would say in my life, but you can't say that they played as well, if not better than Girona, because they didn't. You know, in that game, you know, they went down by one, and then they went down again 2-1, and then 3-1, and then they lost it. So clearly, they weren't able to keep themselves in the game for the whole game, and that I think is a big problem for them, not for us. But I think it's something that Atletico Madrid have to solve. Key players are definitely many key players in this team. However, I think the one player that I'll look out for in this game, a player who can create, who can score, I think is Antoine Griezmann. I think this is a player that has refound his form that he had from 4 or 5 years ago at Atletico as well. This is a guy that went to Barcelona, flopped. Let's be honest, he did flop at Barcelona. Came back and started playing like his old days. He can turn up. He can show the magic. And the last time we played them at the Wanda Metropolitano, where we lost, he was probably the best player on the pitch because he was constantly being the main man, the number 10 who creates. And I think the way Atletico Madrid are going to play, again, it's going to be the same tactic from Simeone. Put the ball into the box and hope for Morata or even Griezmann to head it. And we have to deal with it. We have to deal with it. You know, you can't let Morata get a free header at the back post. You can't let the fullbacks, whether that's Molina or I don't know who plays for left back for them these days. Is it Renildo? Is it, Samuelinho? You can't let these players get the cross into the box. You have to prevent that. And the centre backs are going to be key here because you need a Rudiger to man mark Morata. You need him to get the ball away from the box because a cross comes in. If it isn't dealt with, I think Morata scores. And I think it could be another one of those games where Morata scores 2 to 3 goals. And if you don't want that to happen, you have to deal with it. And I think I see that being the way they play. Of course, Griezmann could do a magic, but why he's important is he unlocks the wing backs, I think, to push forward. And we saw, he gets the ball, he finds one of the full slash wing backs, they put a cross in, they score. And that has been happening, and that did happen the last time we played them. So if you can stop Griezmann from making these sort of passes towards the fullbacks, the wing backs, you can stop the ball being crossed into the box, you can stop Morata from heading the goal. The problem is we're probably not going to be able to keep up with Griezmann for the full 90, so we have to deal with the fullbacks and the wing backs, and that is going to be the most important part of the game. Morata, ex-Real Madrid, would he be considered a traitor? I don't personally think so. Look, Morata at Real Madrid, I don't think he was as impactful as people think he was. Look, he was a good player, but if this was a player like a CR7 or that kind of caliber of a player, he moved to Atletico Madrid, we would be a lot more upset. But clearly, Real Madrid fans don't really care. Of course, sometimes you do hear chants saying he's a traitor, but I don't really think many Real Madrid fans care. There are some players in there who could do something. Like I said, Samuelinho and Molina, their fullbacks, their wingbacks, could put crosses in for Morata that are dangerous. Memphis Depay, is he going to play? He probably will play, whether that be starting or coming off of the bench. The midfield battle with Koke and Rodrigo de Paul, I think would be important. Another player that ex-Real Madrid, Marcus Llorente, will he be considered a traitor? I don't think so. Similarly with Morata, I think with Llorente the difference was that with Morata he was actually being played, but because Chelsea came in with a big offer, we had to say yes. And then obviously after that, he went to Atletico Madrid from Chelsea, and obviously, but Llorente, he went straight to Atletico, but clearly he wanted game time. And back when Marcus Llorente was still at Real Madrid, I think Zidane was still the coach. So you have to go 5-6 years back to remember Marcus Llorente at Real Madrid, and obviously there's that. Riquelme, he could be a threat, again creative player. The defense, Jimenez, Soyuncu, Savic, Aspilicueta, these are physical. Hermoso as well. These are physical players. They're not quick, but they're physical, and that is something that I think Simeone's team is physical, and you have to be able to get at that. Which is why for my team selection, I could have a bit of a thing about it. Of course, All Black, I would say, has constantly been one of the best keepers in the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years in the world. Korea could come on, do some impact on us. Thomas Lemar, Saul, Javi Galan, they made the signing in the summer. And that's really about it. That squad is good. That squad is good. But it's not the best possible squad we could play against. Because I think their stand-up player is Griezmann. And the rest of the players you have to deal with, but they're not game winners. I don't expect Memphis Depay to score a hat-trick and win the game for Atletico Madrid. I don't expect, Angel Correa to come on, score a goal to win them the game. I don't expect them to be the game changers. I think this is a team game. I think Atletico Madrid don't have a particular player who will win them the game, except for maybe Griezmann. But I think what they have is they have a team. They have a team that play for each other. They play together, and they know what their strength is, which is to get the ball into the box and let them head the ball. Get across into the box, and Morata will be there, and Griezmann will be there. And that's what we have to deal with. Similarly, for Real Madrid, I think you have to know what Atletico Madrid's weaknesses are. I think the fact that, yes, Savic is at the back, Jimenez, Hermoso, Soyuncu, these Azpilicueta, these are physical players. But you can exploit them. Vinicius Junior is quick. Azpilicueta is not going to be able to keep up with Vinicius Junior for 90. Yes, they can try to, neck him down, chop him down or whatever. But Savic, Jimenez, Hermoso, all these lot can try to bring down Vinicius Junior for 90. But at the end of the day, he will still have more at the 75th, 80th minute. Because by then, the players will be tired, exhausted, and Vinicius Junior will be able to run at them more. And I think that will be the strength for Real Madrid. The pace. The pace of Vinicius, Bellingham, Rodrigo, even Brahim Diaz would be key. Similarly, if you do want physicality in the box to deal with the centre backs, you have Joselu. You have Joselu as an option. So there is a bit of an interesting pickle, I think, for Ancelotti to decide. Does he want to get at Atletico Madrid? But the success rate is not going to be as high because they're going to play dirty, and we know Atletico Madrid, they play dirty. We know that. And in this team, you look at the starting 11, I don't think any one of these players are a player like Ramos. There isn't a Ramos in this team who can defend Vinicius or Rodrigo if they're being tackled down nastily. There isn't a player like Pepe who can do that. Remember those Ramos, Pepe, Diego Costa days? There aren't these players anymore. For Atletico, they still have Savic. They still have Koke. They have De Paul. They have physical players who can get at us. So, are we going to try to use Joselu as one physical player, or are we going to try to go full out at them to exploit them? And that, I think, is going to be an interesting question for Ancelotti, to see what he does, to see what he would put out as the starting 11. And that, I think, is going to be interesting to see. When the starting 11 comes out, who plays, who starts. But just a quick brief about Real Madrid coming into this game. Arandina away from home, comfortable win. Mallorca, Alaves, narrow wins. Villarreal, good game. And I'm not going to go even further back because we could go on and on and on. Starting 11. I've got Lunin because I see this trend, right? And this trend is Kepa and Lunin constantly switching. They're constantly, one plays a game, one plays the other. And Kepa played the last game in the Copa del Rey. So I kind of expect Lunin to play this. It could be Kepa. But seeing, if you go and look at the last few games, right? Like I said, Arandina, Kepa played. Mallorca, Lunin played. If I'm not wrong, Alaves, Kepa played. And Villarreal, if I'm not wrong, Lunin played as well. So it's kind of like a switch. Yeah, it's a switch really. after each game. And we all know Courtois is the main man anyway, so it doesn't really matter for Kepa or Lunin. You know, at most, one of them will be the backup next season, and we don't know if it's going to be Kepa or it's going to be Lunin. And I did make a video about that as well. Go and check it out if you guys haven't already. On who Real Madrid should keep as the starting goalkeeper next season, backup keeper, next season. But realistically, neither of them are going to be the main keeper, and I think they know that. So it doesn't really affect them too much because Kepa won't get too upset because either ways he's not fighting to be the starter. He knows Courtois is. Same for Lunin. But I've gone Lunin for this one because of the rotation. Back four. Vasquez is still out. He's going to be out for the next 3 weeks, so he's not even going to compete in this competition at all. So Carvajal plays. Of course, Vinicius Tobias starting in the Copa del Rey was good for him. His first start, his first game. But getting back to the serious talk now, Carvajal plays for me. Nacho, because he can play this competition. Of course, he got a red card against Alaves, but that's only La Liga games. So Nacho plays, in my opinion. And Rudiger, who will be, I think, the player in this team that will provide that kind of physicality. Against Morata, against Griezmann, we need Rudiger to step up his game. And even Tchouaméni, I would say. Fran Garcia, for me, at left back. Midfield, Fede Valverde. Tchouaméni for the physicality. Put him back to his best position, which is a CDM. And Modric. I could see maybe Tchouaméni, Rudiger in the back, and Camavinga into midfield. Would I throw Camavinga straight into midfield? No. Would I want to see Modric and Kroos in midfield? No. Thank you. I think you have to start one of Modric or Kroos, yes. But I wouldn't start both. Unless, like before, we had an injury crisis where every midfielder was out. You had no choice. It could be Kroos, it could be Modric, who knows. Your front three, I've gone Bellingham because he's physical and he's the best player in the world at this moment. Arguably, he's on form, you have to play him. Front two, Rodrigo is playing well, I would play him. With Vinicius Jr., would you start him? Yes or no? I'm not sure. I don't think Arda Güler is going to play, by the way. I doubt Brahim will start. So for me, it's either Vinicius Jr. or Joselu for the physicality. But I've just gone Vinicius Jr. to exploit Atlético Madrid at the back with the pace he has. We know he can do that. We know that although they are physical, we can get at them. And we have seen it before. You know, yes, they are physical, but it doesn't mean that Vinicius Jr. can't have a good game. Certainly he can. So that is my starting 11. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. Score prediction. This is gonna be a good one. Score prediction. A biased me would say like a 3-1 Real Madrid. But clearly, you know, that's being too biased and too overconfident. I'll go narrow 2-1 Real Madrid win. Because I think it's going to be a tight game. I think it's going to be a game where both sides are going to get at each other. And it's really down to which team makes less mistakes. You know, are we going to let them have a free header at the back post like we did last time out? You know, the goals that they scored when we lost 3-1, they were all header goals, basically. And are we going to let them get a free header again? Similarly, for Atletico Madrid, are they going to let Vinicius Jr., Rodrigo, Valverde, Bellingham run the show with their pace and technicality? Are they going to let that happen? So, if either side let this happen, I think they will lose. So, it is really down to which side make less mistakes. And of course, I'm not going to come on here and say Atletico Madrid will win. I'm not. So, I'm going to back the team, but I don't see it as an easy game. Absolutely not. But let me know what your thoughts are down below. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Hit the like button if you did. Subscribe to the channel if it's on already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Pish.